It is December again, and everything feels a little slower, except for my mind. The mountains are quiet, wrapped in snow, and on the weekends I feel it too. Snowboarding until my legs are heavy, breathing in the cold air, and watching the sun dip behind the peaks. It is the kind of peace I never know I needed. But as soon as November begins, something shifts. It always has. Christmas is supposed to feel warm, magical even, but growing up it was complicated. After my parents split, we still celebrated together, but it didn't feel right. It felt like everyone wished they were somewhere else, and because my birthday is on Christmas Eve, I guess I thought, does anyone even see me today? When I turned 19, I finally said it out loud that I can't do this anymore. Since then, I've spent Christmas with my best friend and her family. No tension, no pretending, just love. And for the first time, I felt like I belonged. But this year I'm doing something new. 3 days before Christmas, I'm going to Rome with my dad and grandma. Actually, it took me 2 months to decide, and I wasn't sure if I could do it or if I even wanted to. Old wounds have a way of sneaking back in, but I'm going anyway. Not because I know it will be perfect, but because I don't want fear to decide for me. So this video is my way of capturing all of it, the joy, the doubt, and even the growth. Because I'm starting to realize that you don't have to have it all figured out yet. Good morning, it's 7:30, I think, around, and we left at 7:45 or so. This is the current packing situation. So I bought yesterday my big suitcase to Hamburg and packed on my smaller backpack, which is actually not suitable for a small luggage bag, but either way it's always gonna work out. Kinda need to do my hair, and then my sister's gonna drive me to the airport, which is pretty nice of her, and that will be my dad and the rest of the gang. Let's go. This is huge. Ready to go? Invited by my dad and his girlfriend to join them going to Rome with my grandma. So they had plans on going to the opera and like to the theater dinner. And honestly, it took me 2 months to decide if I wanted to go or not. But in the end, I have decided to go because I was very torn between the urge of spending time by my own and also kind of making my grandma happy. But 1 week before I've decided to go, it was honestly, it makes more sense to me to, like, I was knowing that if I don't go or like if I don't do this trip with my grandma kind of together, I would have regret that. Reflecting on what has happened in Rome, like I think what I struggled the most with was the joy of exploring Rome on my own versus the weight of being around my family. Because currently I'm in a stage where I'm working on a lot of emotions and on a lot of feelings regarding the past of my family. Christmas time is kind of negatively weighted in the past because on Christmas is my birthday and my parents split up when I was 13. They celebrated Christmas and my birthday with me till I was 18, but there was always tension at the table at home. And when I was 18, there was this one situation where I was sitting in or like on our table and everybody around me was talking about different stuff, but it was just negative feelings. So it wasn't talking about joy, it was really just screaming, shouting, and just letting everything out what they were feeling in this moment. But nobody was seeing me or nobody was asking about how I'm feeling. And like I always wanted to be around people on my birthday I'm happy to be around with. I was very lucky when I was 19 that my best friend invited me to celebrate Christmas with her parents together. And honestly, it was the best decision I could have ever made. And in the last couple, 4 or 5 years, or like over the last 4 or 5 Christmas Eves, it got better. And I'm still kind of trying to find the joy in Christmas or like the magic in Christmas because I was always a child who loved Christmas and I was like going to the Christmas markets and stuff. But in that moment when we were sitting at the table, I just felt nothing. I felt I was really nobody. I was a bit afraid of doing this journey thing together with my dad because I grew up at my dad's place mostly from the age of 13. And my sister moved out with my mom, so I was, yeah, mostly of the time I was alone or with my dad. And you have to know that the communication between me and my dad never has been a blast or like good even. I was very afraid of him taking my independency of him I've built over the last couple of 6 years when I was moving out. More of him giving me the feeling of being the 13-year-old me, like the 13-year version of me. Of course, we had tensions over the days. So on Friday, they had like the theater over dinner, whatever, and I spent most of the time off myself. I got myself some vegan truffle pasta, some nice ice cream. I saw the beautiful places. So there was this like carousel thing and the old guy with his Leica camera. It was just me and my camera and me really getting my creative mind again back, which was very blocked in the past. And this gave me so much joy that honestly, nothing after that could have taken that positive feeling away from mine. And of course, we had tension on Saturday and on Sunday because of this communication lag. The end, it was just more me or like myself being caught in my past feelings and not having control over my present feeling and being this self-conscious and saying to myself, hey, I can do this and I control my feelings in terms of my dad. I tend to be like the small girl my dad has control over. I just have realized that I have built this distance over the past just to protect myself. And that isn't bad. This just means that you take care of yourself, and that I'm taking care of myself. But being in Rome, or like being the whole family surrounding, reminds me of how much I still wish for this connection, even when I feel that I have to pull away in that situation. So I kind of forced myself to not enjoy the situation, but really being more present, or like trying to see that not everything I experience together with my family in Rome is just for my happy feelings, but doing this can also cause somebody else to be happy. And in that case, it was my grandmother. So it was very, very cool to, like, I got the feeling that I always just feel the happy emotions when looking back, like when I'm still back and not in that moment, which is pretty sad, but this is something I could really work on. But in the end, what I have learned is that it is okay to take care of yourself. And it is okay to feel torn between wanting to spend time with your family and your grandma, and also the needing to protect your own peace and like your own feelings and your own heart. Both feelings are important, but sometimes you have to choose yourself over the feelings of others. And I think this trip was actually a very good exercise for me to trying to balance the feelings of the protection of my feelings, and also about not being too selfish. Also saying, hey, boundaries, or like setting boundaries for your own emotions aren't selfish as well. Kind of realized that pulling away doesn't mean that I love them any less. So when I was home on Christmas, I visited my grandma and I saw her sitting there, and we always play this German game called Kniffel. And this just kind of sets myself back in time, being with her when I was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, whatever. Playing this game together is just something I really, really enjoy. Um, but it just takes time, and that is okay because you cannot expect from yourself in that exact moment to be present. What I was doing right now is calling my grandma and saying, hey, I looked back over the couple of days, it was just like 2 weeks ago now, and just talking with her about what she likes the most. And I also sent her like a video I did of her and my dad together dancing on like the Spanish steps, which is so cute, and we caught a good memory with that. And also talking to the people directly that it is hard for you to stay present in that moment, and that you're more of a person that needs to reflect on what was actually happened, is also something how you can communicate in that exact moment. The first step is seeing those feelings and seeing these emotions in yourself, and talk about those feelings with others you're surrounded with. Learning to, or like, yeah, whatever, is that solitude also can be healing. I was walking on the streets alone on that Friday night and seeing this very beautiful, huge cathedral thing with the birds flying in the background. I kind of felt a peace in that moment, like I haven't felt in weeks, and my creativity sparks um, was sparking in that moment. It reminded me that sometimes joy comes from the simple things. Just be with yourself. I don't know where this is going, but maybe also another learning is it is good that I'm learning to accept that some parts of my will always
tender, if it makes sense. But that doesn't mean that I can't move forward. And healing is messy, but it's also beautiful. I really enjoy just talking to you and just trying to sort my emotions together. And last but not least, listen to your body. And also, especially, my body is pulling away from being with my family. And my body, or like my intuition, is more like go away from the stress, go away from the tension feelings, because I don't want to be take back in time when all this tension in my family has happened. It's okay to honor what your body is telling you, even if it feels inconvenient. So, what I just did is that for the closing part, I kind of set it like a hopeful note. Maybe I'm just doing this in all the other videos too, doing like a hopeful note. And it goes like this. This trip is teaching me that it's okay to hold two things at once: joy and discomfort, closeness and distance. You don't have to choose. You just have to keep moving forward. So in the end, I didn't come, like I didn't choose to go to Rome because I thought it would be easy, but I came because I didn't want fear to make my decisions for me. This is a whole fucking mess.